Hi. We're back, episode 2 of At Your Big Age.
At Your Big Age.
At Your Big Age. What are we talking about, Dionne?
So another question I've been asked to discuss today is, do men settle down with women out of practicality or out of love?
I feel like the two of them exist in the same space.
Really?
Yeah. 100%.
100%?
100%. Out of the practicality, love is usually born. Or love is the first feeling, and then the practicality pops up when you start realizing that they're good at whatever, cooking, cleaning, bedroom stuff, just whatever. So I feel like the two of them are different, but they kind of bleed into each other. You're going to say no, but
I'm not going to say no. What I'm going to say is that, you know, based off of, because obviously when I get these topic ideas from people, I kind of ask the question, I ask around. And a few women have said that they feel that a lot of men, whether it be in their friendship groups or something like that, they feel like a lot of men tend to settle down with women who they perhaps have kind of settled for, because these women, like you say, might be, you know, they might be very good at cooking, they might be very good at organising the home, they might have all the qualities of what, quote unquote, what a good woman is, but in actual fact, the woman that they loved or love is actually maybe where they would have preferred to be.
yeah, okay. Yeah.
Should we dig into that?
Yeah, dig in.
Let's dig in.
Dig in.
So, I mean, how much can I dig in because I'm a woman? But I kind of, do we not all kind of do that in...
What, settle?
Yeah.
Yes, and that's human nature, no? You settle. Everyone settles. You settle.
Because really and truly, like, no one person is going to kind of tick all of your boxes, right? And it's...
I mean, maybe. Sometimes.
Okay, yeah,
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
I think, you know, like sometimes when you kind of go out into the dating world and you have this list of things, your negotiables and your non-negotiables, right? Mm-hmm. Now, sometimes those non-negotiables
are non-negotiable. Like, they're definite. They're not.
Yeah, some of them, but there's some of them you might kind of be like, oh, okay, I could probably compromise on that, you know, a little bit, you know. Yeah. I don't know, like, maybe this isn't necessarily a fair statement to say, but I feel like maybe women probably aren't in that same circumstance where they've maybe let the love of their life go to settle with a man who...
I think it's more men that do that.
Yeah. I have no statistics to back up what I'm saying today, by the way.
Just vibes.
Just vibes.
No stats.
No stats, just vibes.
Today, just vibes.
Just vibes. Yeah, I just... And again, I'm going by conversations that I've had with, you know, my male friends and, you know, even people that have been in long-term relationships. And, you know, some of them have said, I'm here.
Yeah, but then it's sometimes it's circumstance as well, because you want to do the right thing. So there might be kids involved, there might be whatever. So you find yourself staying. I suppose it is practicality, yeah, because it's practical for the family unit for you to stay there. But then your heart is elsewhere. But then what usually happens is, at some point, there's cracks, and then the person ends up going, and someone ends up leaving and saying this isn't really for me, and then normally where infidelity and stuff starts creeping in.
But then, but let's talk about from the outset though, because obviously, you know, complacency will naturally come into a long-term relationship, like just facts on facts on facts. So, but from the outset, I mean, not necessarily saying you, but like amongst all the men that you know, can you see examples of men who maybe have chosen a long-term partner based on what she kind of can provide and do, as opposed to actually that's who they ideally would have wanted to kind of be with?
I think I've seen examples outside of my immediate circle. I think my immediate circle are all they're all lucky enough to be in relationships with people that they actually love.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we've probably all seen instances where it's more of a business type setup, or we're together, we get a house, or you know what I mean? So maybe there's that like you pool your resources individually. You're not great, but as a one, you can do X, Y, Z. So because of that, you end up staying, and that is the basis. I suppose, it's practicality then. It's debate. But then a lot of the time, love is born off the back of that. And if it's not, then you'll soon get found out. It'll just fall apart. So,
but when did love come after? Because surely, if you've made a commitment to say move in with someone and you're living as long-term,
people living with people they don't even like.
Yeah, but surely they've grown not to like each other. They didn't start this thing.
There are people that have moved in together
that don't like each other,
that have realised that I don't like you. There was a whole thing in the pandemic where people had been forced to live together.
Yeah, true.
And now you're in the same space with someone 24/7. You start, there's cracks and but you can't go anywhere now because so the love isn't there. But you thought when you were living elsewhere that it was a thing.
Yeah.
And you were it was wonderful and it was perfect.
Yeah.
But now you're together, it's not. So it was practical for you both to live together. But there's no love there. But when you were separate, it was everything it needed to be. So I feel like sometimes it's just maybe where what circumstances have put you two together. Are those same circumstances going to keep you both together? Do you like the person enough to want to stay together? Like, there's factors. It can't just be whether you've settled or compromised or thing like that. There's got to be something tangible there where you can say, look, and I always say, I've said this a couple of times, like, this is my person. So there's got to be the practical love. If this is the person that is your person, there's got to be some kind of bleed through. Because ultimately, if you're in a relationship with someone, that someone is supposed to bring something new either into your life or bring something new out of you.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, and vice versa. So, yeah. So so that has to.
So, an example that the person who posed the question said was, like, for example, like, you know, she has a friend, for example, and she's like, I know for a fact that he didn't marry this woman because he really wanted to be with her. It is just the fact that she, I guess, makes a good wife, but he spends all of his time cheating.
Because he's not happy.
So
then that relationship's not going to last.
So again, going back to the question then, I mean, again, we can't make it a blanket statement that do men choose practicality over love.
Some men will.
But
yeah, some men probably will. Some men probably. And the thing is, we did a poll and asked 1,000 men who were married, are you happy? Is this the person you're married to, is this the person that you wanted to marry? Do you think there's somebody else that is better suited to you? The chances are every single one of those men will say, yeah, this is the person I wanted to marry. No one's going to admit and say, even though they know, no one's going to say, my wife, especially when you're in it.
No of course.
After the fact, she wasn't for me at all.
The one, yeah.
But there's no man that is going to say, hand on heart, look at their wife and say, right, yeah, no, you weren't. I shouldn't have married you.
I mean, no, but some people might,
I
when
think a lot of people would.
as they're walking out the door, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot, but yeah, I mean, and this is why the whole marriage thing for me is like it's a big thing.
Why?
Because
you say big thing. What do you mean?
You got to read. I've never really been someone to talk when I get married or stuff, but like you have to know.
What do you need to know?
That person is for you. Like,
for you for life.
Yeah.
See, having been married, I have a completely different opinion on marriage now. Absolutely, we'll get married again. No doubt about that. And I will get married again. I think, however, for me, I feel like people come into your life for seasons. And I also feel like, I think probably one of the things that scares people out of marriage is the thought that I am committing myself to this person for life, right? Personally now, I don't necessarily see marriage as something that I have to commit to for life, yeah? So I think, so this is why I'm probably more than happy to be married again, because I just want to enjoy that person for as long as it can last for. You know, at the end of the day, you know, so we're like late 30s, early 40s now. How many life changes have we gone through? How many changes do you know what I mean? Like nothing is consistent, nothing stays the same. People grow in different directions and at different rates. So to say that, like, it's very rare that you find, you know, I know we glorify couples that have been together 40, 50, 60 years, you know, our grandparents or what have you. But like you were saying, how many of those people are actually happy?
So let me ask you.
That's me.
Did you get married for practical reasons or did you get married for love? When now you're not in it.
Now I'm not in it. I think for both. I think obviously the love was definitely there, but of course I had to kind of, because we were together for a long time before we got married. I think we were together for like 8 years before we got married, because we were together quite young, like 17. So for me, like love was never going to be enough for me to be like, I'm getting married. You know, and even for me in terms of dating, even though I was 17, love would not be enough for me to be like, oh, I'm in this relationship. There were a lot of things that I had to see or that were in unison for us to even be in a relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, I think it was a combination of both. I mean, in hindsight,
It's a beautiful thing, hindsight.
would I have got married at 26? No. I feel like, you know, we both probably had a lot of growing to do. And I think when you're in a relationship with someone in your teens, you don't really know, not that you don't know yourself, but you become like almost well, you know how it is when you're in a long-term relationship, you almost become this one unit, you know?
You forget yourself, kind of, a little bit.
Yeah, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I think it's important to, I guess, establish yourself and, you know who you are, know what you want, what you kind of like and dislike. Like, so for me, you know, I'm only kind of just touching road, essentially. Do you know what I mean? So I've...
It took a second for me to cook. Oh, what are you talking about? Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah.
Maybe I should reframe that.
Go on.
You know, like, yeah, so for me, I'm only just kind of getting out there, and it's quite obvious that there's a lot of things that I hadn't experienced before. You know what I mean? Like, even in terms of like meeting new people and stuff like that. So yeah, I think each to their own. I'm just saying, for me personally, in hindsight, I probably wouldn't have got married so young, But at the same time, for the length of time we were together, it was the natural step and progression of our relationship. Do you know what I mean?
So do you think what?
Do you think? Are you going to ask me? Do I think that he married me out of practicality? Yes.
I mean, I wasn't going to, but since how you took the floor is yours, you just took it. Go on. You reckon?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
he didn't love you.
Oh no, he loved me 100%.
Oh, okay. Oh.
But I think again, you know, I was trained to be a wife. Like I come from a very traditional Jamaican family, right? So I was
very about pleasing the man and doing and cooking,
all that
homemaker type stuff.
Yeah, you know, I carried myself well.
All right, so this is the thing, right? And this is where this is why a lot of people struggle with the practical, being with someone for practical reasons like that, and being with someone for not so much, even there's love and then there's like lust and there's all the other stuff. Mm-hmm. A lot of the time, the person that you're with, as in your wife or your life partner, you live in the house with them, they do all of that stuff. They home make, they cook, they clean, they wash clothes, they do all of that, and it's wonderful. Mm-hmm. But the other stuff,
are they not doing?
They're not. It doesn't.
So what kind of other stuff are we talking about?
The adult stuff.
No, but we need to make it clear for the listeners. What's adult stuff?
The tone of the show, but the adult.
No,
stuff,
but we don't. But
you know.
It's love laid bare after dark.
The grown
so
people things, well, maybe he might have a kink and she's not into the kink and just whatever. But I suppose it doesn't really come down to settling. But because he will keep the practical elements separate. So he will have he's almost living two lives. Mm-hmm. We're at home and you're cooking, you're cleaning. I bring home the money. You divvy up the money. You look after the kids. We sit there. We do family stuff. It's wonderful. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Friday through Sunday, he's on the town with getting his rocks off with
Susie.
I mean, yeah, Carmen. You know what I mean? So there's no Carmen. Just in case someone says what, that's a very particular name. There's no Carmen.
I said Susie. You could have just run with that. To be fair,
I actually know it's Susie. So I couldn't have said that. But do you get what I mean? So there's. Sometimes it's not that they've settled for one, it's that they've got the other still. So you've got both.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not even about the compromise or the settling, it's just that they've managed to
get what they want
on both. Whereas obviously in an ideal world, everything would be
in-house. Yeah.
And you just be. And there are some people, I'm sure there are some people that are probably going to watch this and be like, look at them, sitting there with their partner, look at them and be like.
That's what she's saying.
Yeah, they're talking about us, we're good. We're good. We got everything. I'm a cook for you, I'm a clean for you, I'm going to do everything, I'm going to do that thing you like, and and that's like, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's hard, man. The adult thing is hard, man.
It is hard. And I think I can probably say, in hindsight, there were probably some things that maybe I was inexperienced in, maybe. Do you know what I think? I feel like when you get with somebody so young and you don't have other experiences, you have no way of knowing, I guess.
If there's anything else, you don't know anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, and like, you know, I've always been a monogamous person, but of late, I've had to ask myself, because, you know, I think I'd always been like the martyr. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know.
I'm going to fall on this sword.
You know, but had I maybe had other experiences, would I have felt differently?
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean? Because what you don't know...
Can't hurt you. You don't know. What you don't know, you don't know.
Well, you know, you don't know. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not making this personal to me or my
I'm
ex.
sitting here trying to think about if there's any times that I've been with someone practically or not. Like maybe when I was younger, maybe. Convenience.
You see a lot of convenience. I've seen a lot of convenience.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of convenience. More so, but I feel like convenience more so with, like men to women. Am I making sense? So like, yeah.
Because she's just not available. That sounds wrong, but she's just. I can go there when I want. But a lot of people find themselves in relationships like that too, because they can just turn up at a house whenever.
Yeah.
They can just, babe, I'm around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pop in for 10 minutes. That 10 minutes turns into half an hour. Then your stuff's there. You leave a toothbrush. There's mail going there. Your brother's picking you up from the house. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's real. It happens, but it's just you've kind of walked into it, and then it's like, oh, this feels
right.
nice.
Yeah.
And then you end up, but then it's not really practical. It's just something happenstance. It's not about practicality or love. It's happenstance. Sometimes you just happen to be into something. You happen to fall in or end up in.
No, but you don't. No, but you don't just fall, because there are steps that have to be taken for you to do consistently for these things to even happen.
Sometimes you don't even know you're taking steps. You're just in it. Sometimes things become a habit. You do things so often it becomes a habit. 2 weeks of anything is enough to. This is actually a psychological thing. 2 weeks of anything is enough for it to be a habit. You've created a habit. You start exercising for 2 weeks.
Unless it's crack, and that could be like one or first or second time. Yeah.
I've heard. So yeah, do you know what I mean? After 2 weeks, you're in this thing with this person. She's cooking, she's cleaning, she's doing. You're in it. And plus, there's a lot of guys that didn't have that to look at. So when some of these,
what do you mean they didn't have that to look at?
A lot of us growing up in the 80s and stuff, because our dads weren't there.
Yeah.
Your mum had to be the mum, the dad, the everything. So she'd cook, she'd clean, she'd be out, she'd work, she'd think. So a lot of us, our sisters or our brothers or someone, the cousin or someone would be looking after you a lot.
Yeah.
So these little things that we hold in high regard, like a woman cooking or a woman cleaning, or to a lot of women, that's standard.
Yeah.
But because a lot of the men didn't see that or aren't used to that, the minute she does it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is me.
What do you mean they're not used to it?
Some people aren't used to it. There's some guys that have never had a woman cook for them.
What?
Because some women can't cook. What do you mean?
I don't know any women that can't cook.
I'm telling you, there are some women that cannot cook.
You know women that can't cook?
I've met girls that cannot cook. They can't cook. Not that they won't cook, they cannot cook.
Women or girls? Are you talking about? Are you talking about?
I met a girl one time. I'll keep it quick. I met a girl one time. We were having a conversation. She's got a daughter. The conversation revolved around where she likes to go out to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying to her, you eat out a lot, don't you cook? She goes, no, I don't cook. I said, you don't cook or you can't cook? She goes, no, I never learned. African girl, never learned.
Oh.
Yeah, never learned. I'm like, so you just eat out? She's like, I just eat out all the time to get takeaways. I don't cook, it's long. There are women that do not cook.
No judgment.
No judgment, and do what you want to do, whatever. But for a lot of us, when we see or get with somebody that does the normal things, everybody likes to eat. So a woman cooking really shouldn't be a big deal.
No.
Right? But because you're used to not, woman B might not cook, but she's fantastic in bed.
Yeah.
Right? This is where the non-negotiables come in now. So I can't eat here, but I'm fed here. Yeah? Yeah? Woman A, I can take my clothes here. I get massages. I get all sorts. The sex ain't great, but everything else is all right. So what am I going to do? B can stay here because it's not that serious. So she can stay there. Takes minimal effort to keep B happy. But my heart and my head is where A is, because this is where I get the
majority of
we
your
want to
needs
feel
met.
like kings in it.
Yeah.
So over at A's house, I'm treated like a king. Like anything I need or want, I'm good. Yeah. But it's just the sex isn't fantastic. But it doesn't matter because B's here. So technically, I haven't settled.
Because you're getting what you want in.
I'm getting. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that are in this position now.
I feel a bit triggered. I mean, it's old wounds.
It's old wounds.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, but I mean, no. The thing is, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And this will be a topic for another conversation as well. There are a lot of women who are the other woman that are basically keeping a lot of other people in relationships.
Ooh.
No, it's true. It's true. It's true. And someone's gonna say, "Nah, you're gonna have to talk about." But I'm telling you, there are women who are right now keeping other people in happy relationships because they are the other woman.
Okay, so we're going to continue this conversation in the next episode.
And people are going to come for my neck, and it's fine because I'm not. This is the truth.
And nothing but the truth. Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back again in the next episode.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, we'll start with that one.
All right.
Yeah.
And it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Woo!
I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you. It's a fact.
This week's episode is brought to you by Knockout Fitness, because a healthy mind sparks a healthy conversation.